Hey guys, 7stop here. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about my 4-year update. What did I do in this past year learning Japanese and in my life? And I did a whole lot of things, so let's just jump right into some of the things I did. I went to Japan. Got on Japanese TV. I was on a live stream in Japan. I climbed Mount Fuji. Became a college student. Made this life-size cutout of my friend. Started learning Chinese. Got a Japanese girlfriend. Quit Chinese. Finished my first year of college. Got an internship, and much, much more. This was one of the most important years of my life. A lot happened, I grew a lot as a person, and I have so much to talk about. Oh, and this YouTube channel also got to 1,000 subscribers, so thank you for that. So before we get into the details, I wanted to announce a couple things. So I actually have a Discord server. It hasn't really been talked about publicly in any of my videos, but it's been public for like the past 2 videos, 3 videos, something like that, since the Darius video. And I would love for any of you guys to join it. I'll put a link in the description. I'm very active on there, and we have a great community, lots of VCs and chats, so I'd appreciate it if you guys could join. I also have a Patreon, which has just been in the descriptions of my videos, but I wanted to point that out. If any of you like my content and want to contribute, I would use the money for like upgrading my shitty microphone and my camera. So let's start out with the thing that you guys are probably most interested in. How did my Japanese study change this year? So the last time I took this video, I hadn't gone to Japan. So in this period, I went to Japan for the first time. And although I did go to Japan, I actually slowed down a lot with my Japanese study, especially after entering college. I stopped doing like a certain number of hours of immersion every day like I used to do. I wasn't really outputting regularly, but it depends. Sometimes I was outputting regularly, sometimes I wasn't, kind of depended. However, I did still engage with the language every day. Every day I still put in my earbud and I listen to Japanese stuff as soon as I wake up. But when I was in college, I was focusing a lot on well, I'm still in college, but I'm on summer break now. When I was doing that, I was focusing a lot on just trying to get good grades and do my work well and stuff like that. So I wasn't really spending as much time on Japanese. But the role of Japanese has changed from something I'm actively studying more and more to something that's just like a part of my life. I do some things in Japanese, I do some things in English. I talk to some people in Japanese, I talk to some people in English. It's become integrated as a part of my life. So how's my level like right now? I feel like I've definitely gotten better at Japanese, but I just haven't been outputting very much. So it goes up and then it goes down. But like, say it goes up to a certain amount, like, I get better at Japanese at some point, and then later I get worse because I haven't spoke for a long time. If I had to get back up there, it takes way less time if you've got better once to get back up there again. So I feel like overall my Japanese has definitely improved. If I look back on past videos and stuff like that, I definitely feel like I've gotten better compared to the way I talked in the past. But I still feel like I'm not that good at Japanese. Obviously I can communicate with my friends in Japanese. I can say lots of things, but it's still not where I want to be. And it's never really going to be where you want it to be, but I'd like to be better at Japanese still. In terms of words though, and statistics and things like that, I can tell you a little bit about my Anki here. So in Anki, on my sentences deck, for example, I have 9,568 cards. And I know like people say like 10k cards, grind to 10k, all this kind of stuff. So it sounds like it's not that much, but a lot of these cards have multiple words on them because I did do multiple words per card, especially at the beginning. And I have other decks and pre-made things that I mine, so I'll talk about those too. So we've got 9,568 plus my Takobodo deck, which is like, I imported it from this app, Takobodo, which is the best app for Japanese dictionary. If you have Android, you should definitely get it. But my imports from there, it looks like we have total of 1,218 cards, but half of them are suspended because they're not the card type I want, because it automatically makes 2 card types or 2 note types for each card. So it's like, what, half of 1,218, I'll calculate it up there. And then if we move to pre-made decks, I have a JLPT deck, or a series of JLPT decks with 7,551 cards. And I think half of those are suspended because they were the wrong card type. Then I have another deck for studying the N1, which has 829 cards. And then I have a pitch accent deck, which has like the pitch accent of common words, and that has like 1,000 words in it, and I rep that one as well. And then I have some more decks as well, but there's Chinese, which I didn't study Chinese for very long, we don't need to talk about that. And then I have a kanji deck and some school related decks, but in my kanji deck, which I haven't studied for years, I have 1,143 cards, and I made this deck manually, so like these are all, I would put kanji in this deck and learn them. That's how I learned kanji actually. So that's the amount of Anki cards I have. Considering that I don't mind, there's a lot of words I don't mind that I never put in Anki. I think my vocabulary is probably around 20,000 words, something like that. My active vocabulary is obviously much smaller, but I think it's something like that. So for the first part of the year period from my last update video, I was outputting a lot. I went to Japan, I was outputting a lot. I was getting much better at Japanese, learning new things every day. Then I hit college. And at college, I kind of stopped outputting for a little bit, and I was speaking Japanese, hanging out with my Japanese friends at college and stuff like that. But I stopped actively immersing as much and trying to output. It was just like I do it occasionally, and I talk to my friends. And then once I got to winter break, I kind of outputted a lot. I studied a lot of Japanese, but I also studied a lot of Chinese. So I got into studying Chinese for a little bit there. I only studied for a month or two, but I did enjoy Chinese a lot. It was a different experience, but I felt like my knowledge about Japanese helped a lot learning Chinese. So if you speak Japanese, you want to learn another language, I highly recommend Chinese. Kanji knowledge will help a lot, and the general structures and ideas that a language conveys are kind of similar between the two. So I definitely recommend that one. So why did I quit learning Chinese? There's a complicated number of factors, but basically I wanted to focus on school, my career, and I met my girlfriend, so I was spending a lot of time talking to her, and I was using Japanese more. So I kind of decided to put Chinese on the back burner, and then I eventually decided, I'm going to put Chinese off. And also I was planning with a friend to go to Taiwan, but we decided not to do that. It's not going to work out because of my school. And so Chinese became not a priority anymore in my life, and I'm not really studying Chinese anymore. But I would like to pick it up in the future again. I thought it was fun to study, I enjoyed it a lot, and I was making progress. And I felt like, having already acquired a language through immersion before, I knew what to do, I knew what it felt like, what the process learning a language was like, and I was very motivated to learn Chinese. It's not for a lack of motivation. I really wanted to learn Chinese, and it was a lot of fun. And if you're wondering, like, currently, how much immersion do you do? It's a good question. It's hard to quantify. Some days I do a lot, some days I do a little, but active immersion, sitting and watching something, or speaking the language, I guess you can consider outputting as active immersion, but it's hard to say. I don't actually spend a lot of time actively sitting down and watching something in Japanese. I usually watch something while I do something else, but maybe I spend like 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, or something like that, actively watching or reading something in Japanese. But I also listen to Japanese while I do other things very often. So basically, and when you're at a higher level, it's almost no different from active immersion. Like I watch anime on double speed while I do something else a lot of the time. If it's an easy anime, I'll do that because I can basically follow everything still. And a lot of, by the way, I still like anime, but a lot of anime suck and they're boring and tropey, and I'm just watching them to catch up with the seasonal anime. And like, even if I don't pay full attention, I can still follow everything that's happening, right? So I tend to watch it while I do something else. Not the best immersion, but that's what I do. I also watch lots of YouTube. I listen to YouTube all the time, at work, in the car, and things like that. And also I talk to Japanese people basically every day, some Japanese person. But a lot of that was talking to my girlfriend, and she speaks English really well, so we don't speak Japanese the whole time. Sometimes it's half or half, but often it leans to English because her English is better than my Japanese. So I asked for questions on my Discord server, and I have a couple questions, so I'm going to answer those now. One of the questions was what like YouTubers and anime you recommend. I have a video on that, so please check out the video. I made a video specifically about my recommendations. But something I've been watching recently that's really good is Hanzo and Anki. Well, I finished watching it. The second season of Hanzo and Anki. It's a really good drama. I know that's not an anime or a YouTuber, which is what you asked for, but I really like that. For anime, I like airing this season, Kaiju Hachigo is pretty good. I actually like it, which is surprising because I don't usually like those kind of like mass appeal shonen sort of anime. And then for YouTubers, I always recommend Hiroyuki. He's good. Who else do I watch? I don't know. I kind of watched a lot of random YouTubers. Just watch my YouTube video that I made about it. I have a huge list of YouTubers in there. So someone asked, what's the difference between learning Japanese and other languages? Your thoughts. What other languages did you study if you did? So I studied Chinese, as I talked about earlier. How was it? I enjoyed Chinese. I really liked it. And the difference between learning Japanese and other languages, I think Chinese is a harder language than Japanese, but having already acquired a language before, Japanese, knowing what that process is like, and having that framework of kanji and structures that are familiar, that are also used in Chinese, because there are like similar expressions and stuff that are used in Chinese. So having that foundation really helps a lot. So next question, Cloudy asks, so Cloudy is a mod on Refold. Some of you guys might know him. He also has a YouTube channel where he talks about learning Korean. But Cloudy asked, what's a skill you would recommend people to work on if they're also learning Japanese? So a skill to work on if you're learning Japanese, one thing that's really important is to have, at least basic technical understanding of computers and stuff like that. Like, you know how to install a program, you know how to set it up. You're not like totally clueless when it comes to using the internet and downloading things on your computer, getting programs set up, because you're going to need to do a lot of that in Japanese. You need to have a basic understanding of computers. That's important. And what's safe to do online, what's not, where to go to, like how to use Discord, how to use services that will allow you to output. These are more soft skills, by the way. In terms of like a hard skill or something like that, it's hard to say. I don't really know if there's any hard skills that are going to make it easier to learn Japanese or anything like that, but people to work on if they're learning Japanese. But one that's really important that you'll need to work on learning Japanese is social skills. So I'm the same way. I spent years in my room studying Japanese all the time, and when I got out into the real world, I realized I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't know how to make friends or talk to people. So having social skills, charisma, speaking ability, confidence is really important. So those kind of soft skills, communication skills, that's one of the most important things that you need to know to learn a language, and you should learn with Japanese. So when you need to go output to actually speak Japanese, if you can already understand a lot, you're going to need to improve your social skills. So next one is how to output / practice rare grammar. So how to output is a really hard question. I think it's a better idea to wait to output. Now, I don't recommend outputting from day one. Some people do. I'm not going to say they're completely wrong. It's just my opinion is that you should wait until you can understand what the other person's saying, have a good base in the language. But you probably shouldn't wait longer than 2 years, really. You should be outputting like 1 to 1.5 years in my opinion. One regret I have is that I didn't focus more on output. I kind of wish I outputted more earlier. And when it comes to how to output, you just have to do it a lot. There's no shortcut. You just have to force yourself to talk to people a lot. If you have that foundation in the language already, it's going to be easier. But you just have to make yourself do it a lot. It's just like AJATT. You just do it and you get better. And there's things you can do, shadowing, blah, 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 blah. I've never did any of that. I just talk to people. But you can do shadowing. It'll probably help. You can do lots of things that maybe improve your accent. You can practice talking to yourself, which I kind of did. But basically, there's no shortcut. You just need to talk to people a lot, and that's all there is to it. If you're socially uncomfortable, and if you don't like talking to new people or something, you're shy, just get over it. You're gonna have to get over it if you want to speak Japanese, and if you can't do that, then you'll just not be able to speak Japanese. So when it comes to late stage grammar, rarer grammar, I really think grammar should be totally over in your first year. And grammar, so I'm gonna make a video about grammar, but for grammar, you should review some kind of guide, Taikim's guide, or something like that. Genki, it doesn't matter. Grammar doesn't matter that much. And then you reference the grammar when you see something in your immersion you don't understand. So I used Taikim and I referenced it when I could. There's also this book I downloaded. It's like Advanced Guide to Japanese Grammar or something. It has a book of a bunch of expressions of Japanese grammar, and I use that quite a bit. That's not a bad one, but you can basically just look up an expression in there and it'll have an explanation. I thought it was useful. There's also that one, the creepy lady with the VR, like avatar or whatever. I don't know. I forgot what it is. Oh, Cure Dolly. Cure Dolly is what it's called. That's good. That has the most accurate explanation of Japanese grammar. I think it's a good resource. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. Once you get to a higher level, if we're talking about advanced grammar, you just you look it up in the dictionary. Most of these grammar patterns are really words that you can look up in the dictionary, or you can punch it into Google. If you're talking about advanced grammar, I assume you already know quite a bit of Japanese, so you can put it in Japanese and read about it, something like that. That's good enough. You'll acquire all the grammar you need without really doing much specific grammar study. So then another one is, what would your life be like if you weren't studying Japanese? I'm going to talk about this later in the video, but my life would be way different. My life would be way worse. My life would suck if I didn't learn Japanese. I'm so glad I learned Japanese. And we can joke about Japanese being a useless language and all this kind of stuff. I should have learned Chinese, which I probably should have, but Japanese changed my life. I made amazing friends, connections. I probably helped me decide what I wanted to do as a career, because I chose computer science, and a lot of that was the influence of people that I knew, that I had met because I learned Japanese. My best friends I met because I learned Japanese. Not a diss on you, Sam, if you're watching this, and I know you don't speak Japanese, but I made lots of new friends that are my best friends as well, and I met all of them because of Japanese. I went to Japan. I met so many people in Japan because I spoke Japanese. I met my girlfriend because I spoke Japanese. My whole life changed because I spoke Japanese, and I would be totally lost in life without a goal if it wasn't for Japanese. And Japanese also gave me an experience of succeeding at something. Because I gained that experience, I gained confidence in myself because I learned Japanese. Because I did this thing of learn Japanese, I know that I can do something with my life. I'm capable of accomplishing things if I put my mind to it. It gave me a winning mindset in life. So another question, if you could transfer your current level to some other language, would you do it? If so, which language would that be? I would definitely learn Chinese. I would rather have this level in Chinese, to be totally honest. While Japanese is great, changed my life and everything, Chinese is more widely spoken language, more opportunities in Chinese business and communicating with China, career and all that kind of stuff. I just think it's a better option to know Chinese. Now, if you're learning Japanese, that's fine, but I would switch my language abilities to Chinese. So some people ask me about my next Japan trip, which I'm going to put at the beginning of the video. I'm going to Japan in July. I'm going to be there from the 21st to August 19th, I think. And if any of you guys are in Japan and you want to hang out, please, you can just add my Discord, join my Discord server in the description and message me. I'd be happy to meet up with basically anyone, as long as you're not a very weird person. Even if you're a very weird person, I like weird people. Let's meet up. So please let me know if you're going to Japan, if you're going to be in Japan in that period. I'd be happy to meet up. And basically what I'm planning to do in Japan, last time I traveled around to a lot of different places, and I did more activities. This time I'd like to stay mainly in Tokyo. I'll also visit Kansai though, and just meet people and basically live in Tokyo for a month and see what I can do, have fun with my friends. So I don't have, as specific of plans as I did last time. I want to go to this place, this place, this place. I'm just going to go and stay with my girlfriend and meet my friends and enjoy living in Japan for a month. So next question, there's a lot here. Next, goals for Japanese, things you struggle with right now. Where do you see your Japanese level in the next few years? What does the AJATT endgame look like? Things you would do differently. So that's a great number of questions here. So my goals for Japanese, I just want to get better in general, especially at output. I want to be able to speak more fluently, I guess. There's this word in Japanese, shorisokudo, and my shorisokudo is kind of low. It's means processing speed, and I want to improve that. I want to be able to speak faster and not make mistakes, basically. But in general, just fluency, getting better at Japanese. I feel like I already mostly know enough words. I just need to output on a regular basis, because what happens is if I output every day for a week or two, I'll feel really confident and I'll get more fluent at Japanese, but then I won't output for a long time. So I want to be more consistent with my output. Things I struggle with is what I talked about, being fast and fluent in Japanese at all times, because I don't speak it very often, actually. So I wanted to speak more often. I still struggle with pronouncing some sounds in Japanese well, and I still struggle with pronouncing some sounds in Japanese very well. Where do I see my Japanese level in the next few years? I don't really know. I think I'm going to keep getting better at Japanese, and I'd like to get to a really strong level that I can be proud of. One thing I'm not going to do is, there's a lot of people who try and go into reading advanced books, or learning lots of rare words and things like that. I just don't care about that. I'd like to learn words, but I don't really care about learning words Japanese people don't know. And I'd just like to improve my spoken fluency. What does the AJATT endgame look like? I think it looks like you make Japanese a part of your life, and it's not like you're studying Japanese anymore. It's just a part of your life. And you don't really think about studying it anymore, but you are always improving and wanting to improve. And also applying the AJATT philosophy to other skills and your career and things like that. Or, moving to Japan, marrying a Japanese person, things like that are all I would consider part of the AJATT endgame. And things I would do differently if I were learning Japanese now, I would focus more on practical Japanese, less anime, and I would use Japanese subtitles more at the beginning, because I spent a year only doing listening, which is good for your listening, but I would have learned faster if I used Japanese subtitles. So I would do that, and I would also output more earlier on. But I think it's still good to watch anime. I think it's good to have a diverse source of input, not just YouTube, not just dramas, not just anime. You want to touch everything, as they say in Japanese. I'm just recording this after the fact. I have a couple more questions I wanted to answer. So one of them is, you obviously lose some passion and drive for growing, even if you're not perfect, but what are the things that keep driving you, I guess, to get better at Japanese? And it's a really hard question. I don't know, I just feel like I want to get better. I just have an intrinsic motivation that's always been there to get better. There's no really reason for it. I mean, obviously, I want to feel accomplished and speak Japanese well and know more Japanese. And it's just an intrinsic motivation. There isn't really a real logical reason for it. Another one would be, what do you do when you feel like there's less and less growth? When you have been studying for quite a while now and you no longer feel the sense of massive gains? I mean, that's just the way it is. You just have to accept it. And you're not going to grow as much. I mean, I don't really do anything in particular to deal with that. You just keep going. And, focus on the things you can get better at. I mean, think about your weaknesses and try and focus on those. For example, don't focus on something that you're already really good at. Try and find the thing that you can still improve. Another one is, what have you gained from interacting with fellow Japanese learners? I mean, I gained a lot: social skills, sense of community, friends that think the same way I do. I also learned a lot about life from a variety of different people who I met by learning Japanese. And then another one, The final one is what type you prefer, Imouto or neesan? Imouto. So I got one more question that came in later. I'm a little late here, but I'd be interested to hear your current thoughts on subtitles, whether you use them at all, when to drop them, etc. I think subtitles are a really good way to learn a language. I think you should be using subtitles at the beginning. You should be doing raw listening as well. So I did a lot of raw listening, but I think it's much more efficient to learn by using, target language subtitles at the beginning. So I usually recommend people to use target language subtitles, but you should also do some raw listening. For the first part, definitely do, I think, mostly target language subtitles, because if you don't, it'll take you a really long time to learn, like me. You can learn much faster than that. But at a certain point, you're definitely going to want to turn them off, focus on your listening, not get too reliant. So I just answered all of the questions I got for now about learning Japanese and other various things. So I wanted to end this by talking about the invaluable lessons that AJATT taught me, because what I really took away from AJATT isn't Japanese, but the tools that AJATT gave me to deal with the real world and to improve myself as a human being. So because I did AJATT, because I learned Japanese, I learned how to work hard. I learned the value of hard work and discipline. I learned how to persevere. It gave me friends. I made amazing friends because of Japanese. It massively improved my social skills, and it gave me that experience of success that I was talking about. Now I feel confident and ready to apply myself in other parts of my life. Learning Japanese transformed me from a loser who sits in my room, plays video games all day, to a highly social person focused on accomplishing goals, learning skills, and someone that has confidence in myself, that I want to achieve something in my life. It gave me a bigger vision for my life. Not that that vision was learning Japanese, but it gave me the idea that I can do something more with my life rather than just do what other people tell me to and play video games and just follow a boring route in my life. It gave me this idea that I want to do something interesting, I want to enjoy my life, and I want to learn and excel at everything I do. I want to be the best. It gave me that ambition. It also made me massively more productive. I'm going to be focusing on school and my career and getting into the computer science field. I'd also like to continue getting better at Japanese, as always, and I'm thinking about moving to Japan one day. I think I'd like to move to Japan when I graduate school, which is going to be in 2.5 years probably. So you can stick with me for 2.5 years. I'll be in Japan. And additionally, I'm interested in picking up Chinese again at some point and learning Chinese. So thank you for watching. Please put any comments or questions in the description below. Join my Discord server. Check out my Patreon if you want to support me. And if you're going to be in Japan this summer, please let me know. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, guys.